This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. I had the best words. Tolerated. I know words. Mike Pounds. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation. But there's no better word than stupid. Anonymous, really anonymous. I'm very highly educated. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. I had the best words. God bless the United States.
Around the nation, Waldorf Nation, hey everybody, welcome to the show. 2021. New year. Happy New Year, everybody. So, wow. You know, it's kind of weird when you think about it. I can't believe it's 2021 now. Like, where's the flying cars? No, I'm serious. Where the hell is my flying car? Like, I've been waiting. And yet, there is no car. There's no flying car. This sucks. The worst future ever. All we have is like a dystopian capitalist, hyper-capitalist hellscape, and a pandemic. Oh, but at least we have dancing robots. Yeah, well, yeah, that's great. Sure. The ultimate harbingers of humanity's destruction, but at least they can dance. Awesome. Fantastic. One step at a time. All right. Anyway, so new year, new week. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their New Year's Eve. If you got some time off, I certainly did. It was nice to be able to relax a little bit. Yes, I would check in on the news. Yes, I would check in on Twitter. Never check in on Twitter, especially lefty Twitter. Boy, is that just no, it's not worth the time. Let me tell you. Lefty Twitter is terrible. Although generally Twitter is pretty terrible overall, but political Twitter. But it's been even worse lately. I don't want to really get into it. It's just No, let's not do that. It's so much drama happening over the weekend. With you know what I'm talking about. With forced to vote. So just again, I don't want to get into it. But what we are going to get into, of course, is Donald Trump trying to do election fraud. This time, like unabashedly, election fraud. Here we go. And then we're also going to talk about Lizard Squad. What is Lizard Squad? And why is it relevant now? Fun. We'll get into that. We also have Louis Gohmert, who's talking about how right-wingers are going to need to get in the streets and be violent. Wonderful. We have Assange, Julian Assange. Huge update. Huge update. And then we have, of course, if we've got time, one of Biden's, Biden's Secretary of State nomination or nominee happens to have a few conflicts of interest. So we'll get into that, of course. Again, anybody who's surprised at this, at Joe Biden, still continuing the Democratic tradition, and I shouldn't say it's just Democratic, but the establishment, you know, like tradition of putting in, you know, corporate connected people who are, again, not going to serve the best interests of the United States, but really just the best interests of the corporate donors. Well, you're not going to be shocked. You're really not going to be shocked. But anyway, we'll get into all that stuff today. But again, hopefully everybody had a safe and happy New Year's. I unfortunately had some terrible personal news on losing another family member. The second within the last month. So it's been a tough time for myself and my family. Not to get too much into it, but I just want to thank everybody for all their well wishes that I received on social media. I do really appreciate that. My family appreciates that as well. So thank you for all of that, all that wonderful stuff. All right. I guess let's dive in. We got the clown coup. We have some leaked audio of the President of the United States practically begging and threatening an elected Republican to do election fraud in his behalf. So this was, and I'm going to have you listen to some of it. And the reason that we're not going to listen to all of it, that we're going to have excerpts from it, is because it was an hour-long phone call. I'm pretty sure that you do not want to sit here and listen to the President of the United States go on about conspiracy theories and how, of course, they need to do election fraud on his behalf in order to change the election results of November 3rd for the next hour. I'm really, really sure that you don't want to do that. But we will have some excerpts from it. And of course, you can go and look up the whole thing. It's at the Washington Post. That's who first obtained this. And interestingly enough, we don't know where it came from. Who recorded it? Who sent it out? There's theories flying around. Did Raffensperger go? You know, Brad Raffensperger is Secretary of State of Georgia. Did he record it and release it? And then, of course, there's a conversation going on about that, like how it's unbecoming of a man to record this conversation and release it. Not very gentlemanly, let me tell you what. That's an interesting conversation. And by interesting, I mean completely dumb. Who cares? Who cares? And it's not as if the Republicans, could you imagine Republicans getting like a Barack Obama having like a similar kind of conversation during the 2012 election, and it somehow got leaked to Republicans? You think that they wouldn't release that? Oh, immediately. Oh, what happened? Is it gentlemanly? I don't know. I don't know if I'm pretty sure that there'd be Republicans that wouldn't sit on it. Again, I don't care. There's also some speculation that Trump released it himself, which would be the dumbest thing in the world to do. But again, that's Donald Trump, and he's not exactly the smartest person. Not the most tremendous genius, super genius. Not very smart. So kind of dumb. But we'll see. We don't know. Nobody's taking like responsibility for this. That said, I do want to have you listen to some of this audio where, again, he has been recorded threatening as well as begging Georgia Secretary of State Raffensperger to change the results in order to have Donald Trump ultimately take the state. Now, why only one state? Why only Georgia? Since he would actually need 2 other states to, in order to do this. Well, I mean, in order to win, I don't know. But as I explained before, he's not exactly smart. So let's get into it.
And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
Well, but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure.
You should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have, not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense, and you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can. Both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers.
Wow. Just, I mean, there's so much in there. There's so much in there. I love where he's like, "Are you sure?" Yeah. We're pretty sure that our numbers are correct. Oh my God. Yeah, I just want to find some votes. I just want to find 11,780 votes. That's more than what we have. I just want to find some of those. That's all I want. Oh really? That's because because it'll flip the election. Well, not just the election, it'll flip the state over to you. Oh my God. Look, okay. So a lot to dissect here, obviously. For one, though, the primary claim is, well, we won the election in Georgia. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. The recounts did not show President Trump getting more votes. It just didn't. Okay. They did recounts in Georgia. They did the signature matching stuff. They found like what, two mismatched signatures. That's not even evidence of fraud. That's just, you know how people's signatures change over the years, because that happens. That's why the signature matching is not very accurate. Okay, that's definitely not an indication of fraud. But again, no evidence of widespread voter fraud in Georgia. Again, if they had the evidence, they would have presented the evidence. And since they didn't have the evidence, they didn't present the evidence. And so that's why the election was certified in Georgia for Joe Biden and not for Donald Trump. But so I love in this that Donald Trump is using this rhetorical trick. Okay. The people of Georgia are angry. Is this like I know this is a fallacy, all right, but what fallacy is it? Name that fallacy. I think that's what we're playing, because there are so many in there. But I believe that was and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm like operating on 4 hours of sleep here. Argumentum ad populum, right? And maybe that's it. okay, oh, the people are angry. And so the people of Georgia are angry and they really want the very thing that I want, which is to overturn the election in my favor. Well, here's the thing. The people of Georgia, they don't want what you want, since more of them voted for Joe Biden. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what you're trying to say. I don't know what you're trying to, do here, other than make things up so that you can, save your bruised ego, or make it so that you're president, and so you don't have to pay your debts or whatever. You can keep collecting that sweet, sweet tax money going into your businesses. I don't know. Argumentum ad populum. Okay, so then I was right about that. Awesome. And so it's, and look, that's a rhetorical trick that a lot of populists use that. Fascists use it as well. People are saying, that's another one. But that's not just Donald Trump. That's been the, conservatives all over. I hear Fox News saying that all the time. Right? Well, so, some people are saying. But again, we have heard that from fascists all the time. Well, the people are angry, the people this, the people that. Now, I've even used this, right? For example, people want, healthcare. Well, yeah, because I can back that up with polls and data. So now the thing is, I could also say, well, people want Medicare for all, which is true. It's got high approval ratings. But the people also want, for example, a public option that polls a little bit better. I prefer Medicare for all. I think it's better. The American people will say, yeah, it is better, but, we're also okay with a public option. And so the reason I point that out is because you can have polling that shows that both things are very popular. Now, I can go and back that up and say, well, people say this, the American people say this, I've got polls, I've got data, but when it comes to Trump and his, well, the people say, this, the people are angry, well, that doesn't have anything to back it up. And so I use that example as a way to point out how Donald Trump is committing fallacy after fallacy after fallacy. And so he's presenting this argument without backing it up with anything. And so he just says, come on, just give the election to me already. Come on, buddy. Come on, Brad. I won this thing. I won this thing. I don't have any evidence, but some people are saying that I definitely won this thing. And so come on, just give it to me. Just fudge the numbers just a little bit. Recalculate. I just need 11,780 votes. That's it. That's all I need. That's election fraud. I think that's illegal. Now, what's interesting is that it wasn't just Donald Trump on this call for an hour. All right. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution also noted that White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows was on the call too, and had urged Raffensperger to find a path forward in the spirit of cooperation and compromise. What compromise are you talking about? There is no compromise to be had here. Donald Trump is not entitled to votes that he didn't earn. Okay? I'm just saying. No politician is entitled to votes that they didn't earn. Again, imagine if Hillary Clinton was like, Brad, listen here, okay? I won, or, think about it, it's like Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, which Hillary Clinton lost in 2016. Calling up the Secretary of State and going, hey, look, I know I didn't win these states, but I actually did, and it was the Russians, and so I think you should just hand over 5,000 votes, just to hand them over. That's all I need. I just want to find 5,000 additional votes, because I think Jill Stein, kind of screwed me out of those votes. And so I actually got the votes and I actually won this election. So why don't you just hand them it over? Yeah, if that happened, conservative heads would have exploded. They can get away with this. And there are Republicans. I think, according to the polling, somewhere around half of all Republicans don't believe that Joe Biden won the election fairly. They believe that there's massive voter fraud with no evidence at all. Now, again, you also heard that in that Trump accused Raffensperger of committing a criminal offense because he says that there's a conspiracy against the president and warned that this would be very costly. Again, you've heard that, right? It's going to be very costly. I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers. So he's saying that, the people that have examined it, they don't really want to find answers. Oh. Really? No, it's because they didn't find the answers that he wanted. And that's what it's about. This guy's like a fucking mob boss. All right? So first he's pleading like, hey, let me just, why don't you just give me the votes? You just tweak the numbers just a little bit, it'll be fine. For the family, right? For the Trumps. You got to be loyal, right? To the party. You just, make that little adjustment. That's all I'm saying. And then he says, well, it's going to be very costly. I mean, you've got an election coming up. Nice election you got there. It'd be a shame if I were to torpedo it. He's got one more. All right. The election in Georgia, the runoff's tomorrow. Donald Trump's got one more event in Georgia. He can torpedo this thing for the Republican Party. You think he cares about the Republican Party? He cares about the Republican Party as much as I do. As in, I don't give a fuck about the Republican Party. I think the United States would be better off if the Republican Party did not exist in its current form. Or if they were structurally irrelevant, politically irrelevant as well. The United States would be better off. Just imagine no Mitch McConnell. We'd have $2,000 checks right now. Nobody could make an argument, a real cogent argument, that the United States wouldn't be better off without a Republican Party. But, I digress. I feel like I'm kind of like losing the plot on this one. All right. But all right. He doesn't care about the Republican Party. And that's the thing. He only cares about himself. He only cares about his own re-election chances. All right? That's it. That's all he's ever cared about is his own power and his own wealth. So of course he's going to screw over the party. Why wouldn't he? Of course he would. And so that's why he's doing this. That's why he's calling these different, what is it? Okay, I don't know if he called any other states, but let me tell you what. He called Georgia 20 times. 20 times. To try to convince him flip Georgia. And I'm assuming that he'd also, maybe if this had worked, try to call Michigan and Pennsylvania. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And so this is, again, this is going to be a war on the Republican Party. Okay, this is what I see next. January 6th, certification. It's going to be certified. Mike Pence is not going to do a goddamn thing. All right? And so you're going to have Joe Biden being the president of the United States. And so what's Trump going to do once he leaves office? He's not just going to slink back to Mar-a-Lago. All right? No, he's going to declare war on the Republican Party. Mark my words. It'll be war on the Republicans that did not support him. For example, Suzanne Collins, he's going after her. Mitt Romney, Bill Cassidy. Those are just a few examples of Republicans that are openly saying, yeah, you can't, no, Joe Biden is the winner. You can't just deny certification of these results. All right. Now, the ones that he's not going to go to war with is people like Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, and some others. So basically, if you were whipped like Ted Cruz, if you were a sad, pathetic little Trump lapdog, well, then you're going to be okay. Again, it's funny how sad and pathetic Ted Cruz really is. The guy called his wife ugly. and then said his father killed JFK. And still, Ted Cruz lines up to lick his boots. It's so sad. It's so sad. But look, ultimately, it's self-serving because for, Hawley and Cruz, it's about getting the Donald Trump base on their side. Because Donald Trump still has incredibly high support within the Republican Party. And so they're doing that to get that base on their side so they can run and win a Republican Party in 2020, a Republican primary in 2024. That's what it is. That's what it is. And it is the Trump base. Absolutely it is. And so all they're looking for is power. Hawley's going to try to play the, populist angle. And of course, Cruz is going to play the, the religious conservative angle. The same thing that he tried to do back in 2016. All right. And that's what's going to happen. And by the way, Ted Cruz has already run for president in 2016, as I just mentioned. Do I think it's going to do so again? Of course he will. There's only one thing Ted Cruz wants, and that's power. And he'll do whatever it takes to get it, just like Hawley and just like Donald Trump. All right. That's kind of what I have to say about that one. Did we just get a raid from TYT? What is this? Welcome. Welcome, TYT Raiders over on Twitch. That is awesome. If you could please hit that follow button. That helps us out greatly. Thank you so much for dropping by. Read my damn message, Kim Clem. Where's this message? Am I missing this message somewhere? Let me see if I can refresh. Is there a message from Kim that I've missed? Don't know. I don't see one, except for the message telling me to read the damn message. You got it wrong. Everyone is getting it wrong. What are we getting wrong? Trump isn't asking to find illegal votes. 11,700 illegal votes, so you can erase him from total, and thus he wins. Illegal votes. Basically, any vote for Biden. That's what he considers illegal votes. Fun times. All right. It's fantasy. It's pure fantasy with Trump. Like, he actually thinks that he really did win this. He actually thinks he won this. Crazy. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to Lizard Squad. This is fun. He's asking for let's see. He's asking to fabricate a reason to declare votes illegal. He also thinks he handled COVID well. Yep. He's building a great insanity defense. Oh boy. Lizards versus dragons. Yes! Do that. You may have heard of Dragon Squad, but have you heard about Lizard Squad? If you haven't, that's probably a good thing. You should probably leave now to save your sanity. Okay, but those of you who will decide to stay, great. Buckle up. It's going to get crazy in here. All right. Now, so this starts with, and by the way, Lizard Squad's been around for a while. They're a hacker group. And so they're involved now somehow with Trump, a pro-Trump attorney, Lin Wood. Now, Lin Wood, I've talked about this. He is a crazy person who represents Donald Trump, or tries to represent Donald Trump. All right. So now he fired off recently a bunch of tweets accusing the president's supporters, or opponents, of some crazy things. So now he starts off by talking about Chief Justice John Roberts on the Supreme Court. And this is in relation, of course, to the Supreme Court not taking up the crazy lawsuits that the Trump camp has been pushing to try to invalidate the election. So now he says, I believe Chief Justice John Roberts and a multitude of powerful individuals worldwide are being blackmailed. Blackmailed. Oh man, that is, if they are being blackmailed, wow. That's a big story. That's huge. All right, all right, let's go more with this, okay? In a horrendous scheme involving rape and murder of children captured on videotape. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. I mean, that's a big story. That's huge. All right, so I'm assuming then that you have this videotape, right? I mean, you can't just go and make these crazy claims if you didn't have some sort of evidence to back it up. Oh, well, I think you can probably figure out where I'm going here. But no, first, more tweets. He said, I have the key to the files containing the videos. I have also shared this information. The information being the blackmail scheme conducted by members of 10 of the world's most well-known and elite intelligence agencies. So wait, what? Like the FBI, what, you get the CIA, and then you got like MI6. Is that a real thing? MI6 does exist, right? Or is that just in the Bond films? I don't know. The KGB, or I think it's like what the FRU, I think, or something like that. I forget what the Russian intelligence was. Anyway, so apparently, according to Lynn Wood, in this conspiracy, you've got all of these intelligence heads that go around, and he explains that they'll, drive up to somebody, I guess an important figure, right, with a gun, and get them to shoot and kill people on camera, on tape, and then use the tape as blackmail. So for example, in this, according to them, Chief Justice John Roberts had murdered someone on tape because the CIA or whatever made them do it. And then they've got the tape and they're using that as blackmail against John Roberts. It's insane. All right, so now, again, if this is true, then there would be the tapes, right? So why not just release the tapes? Well, that's that is the question. Oh, it's because there are no tapes. It doesn't actually exist. Oops. Now, they also said that one of those groups was hacked by Lizard Squad, and the blackmail files were obtained by the group, and copy was provided to, and here's where it gets even more interesting, a man named, an actor named Isaac Cappy. Isaac Cappy, who had committed suicide in May of 2019. But they say, no, he didn't commit suicide. He was murdered. Really? Well, there was a note and everything. That note must have been fabricated. Must have been fabricated. And then Wood adds, I would never make an accusation without having a reliable source for it. Stakes are too high. So I did due diligence to validate the accuracy of the shocking information I'm revealing tonight, which you didn't, by the way. I'm entirely comfortable that you are learning the truth, a truth that explains much. What? Wait, what? Okay. He also claims that he and his allies are under physical threat for exposing the allegations, which he actually didn't expose anything, just allegations, right? Just making crazy allegations. And that Cappy was the latest victim. Again, this is batshit. Batshit. But again, no evidence. Because again, he hasn't shown the evidence. This is okay. And of course, the reason, and I'm just gonna come out and say it and just kind of forecast it here. When he doesn't show the evidence, when he doesn't produce the tapes, then, he's going to blame the deep state. Oh, they stole the recording. That I would have loved to have showed you the tape of all the evidence of all my conspiracies and prove QAnon is right and that everything exists. But hey, they stole the recording. It's made up. It's made up. It's bullshit. And yet so many people believe it. Why? Why? I don't know why. I think it's because maybe mostly like most conspiracies, it's if you think about it too hard, it exposes all the cracks in it. Okay. And look, like most conspiracies, the whole thing is designed to bypass your logic centers. All right. The more you think about it, you're not supposed to think about it. It's supposed to touch your emotion. Okay. It's supposed to get you hyped up. It's supposed to enrage you. I mean, look, yeah. Oh my God. Did you know the cabal of elite pedophiles is going and raping and murdering children and then using that or getting people to murder and rape children, and then they're using it as evidence to try to blackmail people into stopping Donald Trump? Let me tell you what, that's exactly what's happening. The deep state's covering up. By the way, the broads are also gay. You know that too? Fluoride in the water. What? No, but again, it's supposed to enrage you and make you not think. Because if you think about it, you see that it's bullshit. And that's what's going on here. And by the way, it also plays into distrust of the government, of politicians, and basically of anybody you don't like. And so not only does it justify the dislikes that you already have of certain people and certain politicians and certain political ideologies, but also allows you to justify levying the worst kind of insults, charges, and threats at the people that you don't like. And that's why the conspiracies are so dangerous. They lead people to shooting up pizza parlors for no reason. Or they also lead people to believe that elections are completely illegitimate without any sort of real evidence. There are people now that live in a completely different reality than the rest of us. And it's all this conspiracy stuff. And here's the thing, not all conspiracies are false, but a lot of conspiracies start, I should say most of them, start with a kernel of truth. And so they build on that, and then they surround it with falsehoods, they surround it with lies, with just complete and utter bullshit. And so, again, this is what's happening right now. You have so many of these conspiracies that are going on in the right wing right now. And we're going to have to deal with these people. All right? We're going to have to deal with this going forward. Once Donald Trump's gone, it's not going away. This is not going to go away. What do we do? And that is the question that I have, and I don't have an answer to it. They're still going to be part of society. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anyway. Holy shit. Did we get raided by Central Committee? Holy crap. Wow. Look at 820 viewers over on Twitch. Wow. Thank you. Hey, if you like what you see, hit the follow button. Much, much appreciated. Not only a raid from TYT, but Central Committee in one day. Did I miss something else? As well, Doomer, totally going Doomer on that one. But no, there is a way to deprogram people. I just have to figure out. I don't know how, and I think people like Vosh do a great job of deprogramming other people. Breadtubers do a fantastic job of deprogramming people, bringing them over from the right to the left. I think that's the right way to go. Of course, I noticed you. Of course, I noticed Twitch. Twitch is awesome. They've been around since Alex Jones. Are more vocal now, though. True. Mike from PA, thank you again for that raid. TYT Trashy Plays, thanks again for that raid on Twitch. Don't worry, I have not forgotten about YouTube, my YouTube fam. Love you all. All right, so let's actually get to some more stuff here. We've got Julian Assange. Hell yeah, Vosh helped me. Vosh is good, people. So who does that? Who deprograms? Well, a lot of different people by presenting facts and logic and good arguments to try to get people to see, you know, that what they had believed before was leading them down the wrong kind of path. He tells his base for 6 months the election is rigged. If he doesn't win, that's why half the country believes it's rigged. And yeah, that's a good point. That's an excellent point. All right, move on. Let's go to Assange here. Nope. Actually, no. Let's not go to Assange. Let's go to Louis Gohmert. Once I get my stuff in order here. I am out of order, friends. All right. I'm not quite the typical Twitch streamer. All right. Forgot I had that. Republican Representative Louis Gohmert was caught promoting violence over the recent loss of his insane lawsuit against Mike Pence. So you have Republican on Republican crime. Louis Gohmert, of course, filed this lawsuit, which sought to empower Vice President Mike Pence to overturn the election in Donald Trump's favor, to not certify the results. So now Gohmert and several other Republicans sued Pence on Monday in an effort to grant him the authority to count Trump electors in key states won by President-elect Joe Biden during a joint session of Congress on January 6th to certify the Electoral College results. So this is what conservatives were calling like the Pence card. And so the whole plan was, oh man, just you wait till January 6th when Mike Pence comes and actually hands the presidency over to Donald Trump. And he remains vice president because he can do that in Congress. No, he can't. Literally, he can't do that. Which, of course, since he couldn't do that, you had Trump-appointed federal judge Jeremy Kernodle dismissing the case, writing that they lacked standing, which led to this fun little video clip. Take a look.
It has got an unconstitutional provision. If I don't have standing to do that, nobody does. And if the appropriate defendant is not the vice president that under the Constitution has the power to make that determination, then there is no. But bottom line is the court is saying, we're not going to touch this. You have no remedy. Basically, in effect, the ruling would be that you got to go to the streets and be as violent as Antifa and BLM.
Well, let me ask you, Congressman Gohmert. I mean, technically, the ball is still in the vice president.
Okay. Notice how she looked. Okay. Gohmert. I wonder why she wanted to interrupt him so bad. I know, that's Newsmax. And they say some crazy stuff there. But anyway, look, that was fantastic. Again, Gohmert saying, well, you know, if this doesn't turn out the way that I want, then we should go in the streets and be as violent as BLM and you know, Antifa. Oh, really? First off, nobody's more violent in this country than the right wing, than conservatives. I mean, look, you look at it, right-wingers have bombed abortion clinics. They've done mass shootings. They've attacked members of the LGBT+ community, trans rights. It doesn't even come close. Okay, it doesn't even come close. The far right is the most dangerous group in America, and we have studies to point this out. We have actual data that is documented that right-wing terrorism in this country, done by people with this far-right ideology, has done more damage, has killed more American citizens than fundamentalist Islamic terrorism, and certainly way more than BLM and Antifa. Okay, first of all, I don't even know who how many people has BLM killed? None that I can tell. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. All right. No, the far right is the most dangerous group in this country. And look, it's insane that there are people want to compare that to all the right-wing violence in this country, to Antifa burning like a couple of buildings in a car or a couple of cars. And I think maybe two people were killed by people in Antifa, I think, at most. And so, and by the way, Antifa is not even like a whole group. It's an ideology. And so it's the whole thing, again, it's super ridiculous. That said, here comes the hilarious backpedal. So now Gohmert comes out later after he realized he made a big oopsie. And he said this. He said that he has long advocated for following the teaching and example of Dr. Martin Luther King of peaceful protest. I guess except when it comes to black people. He added, violence is not the answer. The appropriate answer is to courts and self-governing bodies resolving disputes as intended. Okay, then why did you say you had to go out in the street and be violent? That's weird. I mean, again, this has got nothing to do with Pence's role as a person who counts the electors anyway. None of this makes any sense. But like, you look at it, and it's very, very obvious that they're just caping desperately for Donald Trump. It is amazing how little these Republicans actually give a damn about not only the rule of law, of course, but also facts, logic, and reason. They just don't care. Now, attorneys for Pence responded to the lawsuit on Friday by asking the judge to dismiss the case, and that's exactly what happened, arguing that these plaintiffs' suit is not a proper vehicle for addressing those issues because plaintiffs have sued the wrong defendant. Well, I'd love to see who they're going to sue next. The response also noted that with the lawsuit, Gohmert was asking the court to strip Pence of his ability to object to the results as a member of the House, which again, Mike Pence, when he is the tie-breaking vote as the vice president in the House. So that's what he can do. And the whole plan, again, is trying to get enough House Republicans to object to the certification of House results. Now, the thing is, that's not going to flip the election over to Donald Trump. And yet, what it's going to do is going to be a gigantic show. It's going to be performative. It's going to be theater, right? And so you've got Josh Hawley, who is out there, who's a member of the Senate, by the way, who is also objecting to this over in the Senate. And given that you have to have majorities in both chambers to sustain an objection, a vast majority, right? The effort is just going to do nothing overall other than just be performative. So, as I mentioned before, Senator Cruz, Josh Hawley, and the rest of these Republicans, they want the Trump base. They want the Trump base so they can win their elections because Trump just happens to be popular among the Republicans. So, as far as Louis Gohmert is concerned, he's not a smart person. This guy used to be a judge. Think about that. Yikes. Yikes. I think, though, Louis Gohmert is doing this because he actually believes in this. He really believes in this, just like Donald Trump does, that Trump did win the election. And that really does kind of show you how dumb both of them are. Representative Scalise was shot by Bernie Sanders supporters. It does happen on the left, just not as much. Yeah, true. I never said that left-wingers never do violence. Just the majority of it happens to be in the right wing. And that's it. It's true. It's true. The far right and fundamentalist Islam agree on 90% of things. It's weird that we separate that. True. Also true. No, you're right about that. They do agree on a lot. Great comment. Christian white supremacy. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Christian Sharia law. Lona Reader says, I can see this going forward in similar fashion to Benghazi stuff. Endless hearings for no reason. Also true. Absolutely true. Now let's go to Assange. Some good news today. A British judge has rejected the request by the United States to extradite Julian Assange. So now, Assange, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with him, created WikiLeaks, which released some pretty embarrassing information about the U.S. domestic spying programs that we covered on the show. A lot of independent media did. And this information was given to us, given to them, and then to us, being released public by whistleblower Edward Snowden. Now, WikiLeaks also released collateral murder video earlier of an American helicopter in Iraq killing innocent civilians and medical personnel. So it's a lot of stuff that the United States government did not want released. So they're not happy about this. The Obama administration definitely not happy about this. And so another thing that they were not happy about is the fact that WikiLeaks was involved with the Clinton email scandal, in which a trove of Hillary Clinton's emails were released, most of them fairly boring and mundane, but there was some of them that actually gave us some insight into the corruption of the DNC and how they were putting their thumb on the scale for Hillary Clinton against Bernie Sanders. In fact, we also found out from emails that a CNN staffer, Donna Brazile, had been passing questions to the Clinton team before a debate on the network. These are questions that, did not get shared early with the Bernie Sanders team. So it's obvious that there was some favoritism going around. She was the establishment favorite, and he was not. He was the insurgent, he was the upstart. And so, well, the establishment did not like that challenge, especially since it was a pretty significant challenge. And so there's all of that, okay? Now, why did the request get denied? Well, it's because it was happening in Great Britain, in the UK. And it's because of the prison conditions here in the United States. So now that's interesting. So now, citing harsh federal prison conditions in the United States, according to Shadowproof, Kevin Stoller writing this article, Judge Vanessa Barrett-Sear rejected the United States government's extradition request. She also accepted that diagnoses that Assange had were recurrent depressive disorder, which anybody would be recurrently depressed if they were locked in an embassy for, 8 years? Long time. And also, something I didn't know, high-level autism. Okay, high-functioning autism. All right, so that depressive disorder coupled with, and this is according to the judge, would, together, being in that isolation in a supermax prison under special administrative measures, they surmised that Julian Assange would be more apt to commit suicide. And so, therefore, here's what she said. I am satisfied that in these harsh conditions, Mr. Assange's mental health would deteriorate, causing him to commit suicide with the single-minded determination of his autism spectrum disorder. I find that the mental condition of Mr. Assange is such that it would be oppressive to extradite him to the United States of America. So now we have examples of this, of U.S. prisons being so shitty and so bad that, yes, people have tried to commit suicide and have successfully committed suicide. Now, one example of somebody who tried to do so was Chelsea Manning. Chelsea Manning was tortured while she was in prison, okay? And during that torture, she had attempted suicide several times during her incarceration. I mean, part of that torture included shining bright lights into her cell so she couldn't sleep, all right? The judge also talked about Epstein and how Epstein had killed himself, or allegedly killed himself. And so that determination, the judge determined that in conditions of near total isolation without protective factors which moderate the risk of committing suicide, high security Belmarsh prison where he currently is detained, the authorities would not stop him from trying to end his life. And again, the prison conditions in the United States are horrific to begin with compared to those in the EU, or in this case, since Britain is leaving the EU, in Britain anyway, over in Europe. And look, I'm not saying the worst in the world, of course, but they're pretty bad here in America. That said, he will have an opportunity to apply for bail from Belmarsh, where he's been detained since April of 2019. But that said, speaking of not great, the U.S., of course, is going to appeal with the High Court of Justice because they really want to get him. Okay, they really want to get him. And again, it's because he embarrassed the United States government. And look, Assange, by the way, was charged in 2019 with 17 counts of violating the Espionage Act, 1 count of conspiracy to commit a computer intrusion that contains elements of an Espionage Act offense. His superseding indictment in 2020 contained new general allegations that targeted his speech at conferences and the role he allegedly played in helping the NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden leave Hong Kong. But here's the thing. Like Assange or not, he is a journalist. I consider him a journalist. He released information given to him by whistleblowers. And what the government has done in going after him so aggressively is, in essence, criminalizing news gathering practices by journalistic outlets. That includes the receipt and publication of secret government information. Now, there's a reason that freedom of the press organizations have condemned these charges, because you are criminalizing journalism. If we do not protect whistleblowers and the journalistic outlets that publish the things that they have uncovered, then we do not have freedom. We will never find out the terrible things the government does in our name, and therefore we cannot change those things. And so it's really, really important to protect journalists and whistleblowers. And in this country, we have done a shit job at both. We have done an absolutely terrible job. Abysmal. You cannot have a free society if you do not protect journalists and whistleblowers. Democracy actually depends on having free information in order to go to the government to address our grievances. And the Obama administration was really bad at this. The Trump administration also terrible at this. And so what we have to do, again, is we have to protect our whistleblowers and our journalistic outlets. It is a threat to freedom of information. So now, more bad news. So now that said, the judge did accept almost all of the allegations that the U.S. government has laid out. She said that they were reasonable, and said that a court would protect Assange's due process and free speech. No, not in America, not now. Not with a government that hates whistleblowers as much as it does, and journalists as much as it does. And I don't trust that it's going to change in the Biden administration as well. I don't believe that Assange is going to be treated fairly. And that's why, and by the way, this is why Snowden didn't come home as well. And so, and by the way, why Manning, who did go to prison, nearly committed suicide many times. No, we've got to fix protections in this country and actually protect those people that need protecting. But nonetheless, at least he's not getting extradited to the United States, at least for now. And so this is somewhat good news. I'll take it. It's not Assange's fault Hillary had such terrible secrets. They weren't even that bad. It was, what, a public and private position? Basically reconfirmed everything that we already knew about Hillary Clinton. Oh, did you know Hillary Clinton likes corporations and has a private position that's pro-corporate and pro-I want more power? No. Really? Oh, did you know that Hillary Clinton would rather have Bernie Sanders lose in a primary against her than have Bernie Sanders have a fair shot at winning? No. Of course not. Come on. Come on. We know. How many of those were actually secrets? Again, true. True. I don't like everything Assange has done, but I believe there's more good in what he's revealed. That's true. Yes, Hillary's neoliberal. It really depends on your definition of neoliberal, because at this point, it's been thrown around so many times that nobody really even knows what that means anymore. It just means, at this point, it just means establishment. You'd be surprised some people thought that Clinton was a saint. Oh my God. Oh. There's still the I'm with her people. Oh my God. No. Snowden is a true hero because he exposed that the government was spying on ordinary Americans. And you know what sucks is that, unfortunately, most of the public didn't care. And that's like the worst thing, at least up until recently anyway, up until the Trump administration, because it took Donald Trump being as horrible as he is, and as transparently horrible as he is, for people to actually care that, oh, right. It turns out, yeah, we're being spied on by our government. Weird. Neoliberal equals policies which increase wealth inequality. Again, it's more of your kind of laissez-faire, sort of like economically conservative sort of ideology. Don't give his findings to Assange published on WikiLeaks. It's true. True. Who does the USA fight for? Whoever pays. Whoever pays. All right. Speaking of people who pay, I got one more story here, and there's some conflicts of interest in Biden's new cabinet. Let's get to that. President-elect Joe Biden has chosen someone to lead the State Department, and that's Anthony Blinken. So now Anthony Blinken is no stranger to serving in Democratic administrations, as well as serving on corporate boards. In fact, he had a career at West Exec Advisors. It's a corporate consulting firm where he co-founded with other Obama administration alumnus. Now, he has also advised major corporations from a range of industries on how to work with the federal government and land profitable contracts. So now, the reason that this matters, that he is going to be Secretary of State, is that he's got a lot of conflicts of interest, which could compromise his ability to be an effective Secretary of State. So now, Alex Koch, writing in Sludge, talks about this and goes into detail about his corporate connections. And so he talks about the financial disclosures that the Biden team had released on New Year's Eve. And they reveal numerous West Exec clients that Blinken recently worked for, including multinational firms that could be impacted by the State Department's work. So now, getting to the money. West Exec paid Blinken $1.2 million over the roughly 2 years of his work advising clients in defense, financial, tech, telecom, and other industries. Blinken is set to receive hundreds of thousands more in 2020 in compensation from the company. The Biden transition site bio, Blinken just happens to leave out any mention of his corporate consulting or any West Exec advisors. Some of Blinken's clients, as reported in this financial disclosure, was Boeing. It's one of them. Microsoft, Facebook, LinkedIn, Uber, Blackstone, Lazard, Pine Island Capital Partners, the Royal Bank of Canada. Ooh, I should probably tell Lance about that over at the Surfs. SoftBank and other businesses such as AT&T, Discovery, drug maker, Gilead Scientists, consulting behemoth McKinsey, of course, Pete Buttigieg fame, and Sotheby's. Several of these companies did disclose lobbying the State Department in 2020. Gilead Sciences, for example, lobbied state on international trade issues and IP issues with multiple countries. Among other things, Boeing lobbied on trade issues with Japan, the European Union, and the UK, among other matters, and Microsoft lobbied the department on immigration issues related to highly skilled workers. So, of course, there seems to be a lot of conflicts of interest here where we don't know if he's going to put the donors first or the interest of the actual country first. And so that's a problem. Now, Blinken released a ethics letter saying that, well, I will not participate in matters involving WestExec's clients until I receive the final payment from the firm or matters concerning his own clients for 1 year after he last advised them, unless he obtains a waiver from ethics rules. Oh, that's great. As we know from the Trump administration, Koch writes, the White House counsel has the power to issue unlimited waivers. And so, great. Awesome. Fun times. Part of the State Department's job, by the way, is to help American businesses abroad. Blinken owns between 51,000 and 115,000 in Facebook stock per disclosures. Blinken also heavily invested in tech giants Alphabet, which, by the way, did unionize, so that's good. Which owns Google. Holdings are worth between $101,000 and $265,000, and Apple $101,000 to $265,000. In addition, he has six-figure investments in Ally Financial, Amgen, Berkshire Hathaway, Oracle, among others. Blinken's ethics letter, however, says he will divest within 90 days after his confirmation to Secretary of State. He probably will, but then again, since Trump didn't, why would anyone? I mean, really. He kind of broke that precedent. Donald Trump didn't divest from his businesses. And so why would anyone expect a Biden administration, anyone in the Biden administration, to do the same thing? Now, maybe he will, just to say, oh, look at me. I'm completely accountable and I am not corrupt like our last administration. But still, there are still those conflicts of interest. And so that's a problem. And there's so many more investments that they have, okay? And so the whole thing about this is, given the years that he has served in the Obama administration, as well as the money he has invested in these businesses, and the work that he has done on behalf of these clients, can we really be sure that he is going to represent the country? And I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And there's another piece of information as well. And it's the fact that his wife, Evan Ryan, helped him get his job, because Ryan is the executive vice president at Axios and also a paid member of the Biden transition team. She was also helping lead the transition as of last summer. And so she had influence over this. What more is there to say? This is corruption on a huge level. I know a lot of people will be like, but it's not quite Trump level. But the problem is we have normalized this. And it wasn't just Trump. Yes, Trump took the corruption that was already there and put it to an extreme. And now, as a result of this, anything that comes after that isn't quite as extreme has now been normalized. What we need to do is we need to make sure that anybody who has, lobbied on behalf of corporations, who has corporate ties, does not get put in charge of the same kind of corporations that they had previously represented. Not just for 5. No, never. We do not need this corruption in government. Okay, we need to get this out. We also need to get the money out of politics. And so, unfortunately, I don't see a Biden administration do anything about that. I don't see any administration doing anything about that, because corruption is so set into our system that I think that nothing short of just starting over is going to purge the corruption from the system. And that's some shit to talk about, okay? That is some heavy stuff to talk about. But what we have is a corrupt system that we have to, and I don't know that we can fix it We've got to do something about it, though. I just don't know if we can fix it or if we have to just, again, start over. And that, again, is a super scary thing to talk about or to consider. But I don't know where to go from here. I really don't. That's really all I got to say about that. Got to get the money out of politics. Absolutely. What do we do about this? Biden is going to see Kumbaya. Yeah, Biden shit. Corruption is endemic in America. We need a movement. What we need? Yeah. Okay. So I talked about this earlier. Before I kind of sign off for the day. All right. People in America are the general public, right? Those of us who are plugged in and we know what's going on, we're pissed off by the system. I'm not talking about you. But most people in America are, how did Bosch put it? Cucked. They're cucked. Compared to France. Yeah, I saw a tweet where, there's a woman who was like, well, I have a French boyfriend, French boyfriend. And he's looking around in America and he's like, why are you burning things down? If it's so bad, why do you just burn things down? That's how we get things done in France. But America is so cucked that we don't do that. The corporations. And the corruption is so normalized, and the system is so set up against change and set up rigged against the average person that nobody even thinks of changing it. That nobody thinks that maybe they can do anything to change it. And so, that is what, like, I would love to see a general strike. The problem is, I don't think it can be done. I don't think that there's enough people. Why? Because we do not have a strong labor movement in this country. We used to have strong labor. We used to have people. I remember reading the stories about the miners in Appalachia, the unions that would get together and shoot at the cops. Right? If they had a work day that's too long, they'd grab their guns and they'd go shoot at the cops. All right, and have firefights with the mine owners. That's what used to happen in this country. What happened? What happened? How did the French outdo us? Again, if they raise like the gas tax, for example, in France, the whole country shuts down. We don't do anything near that. And I really wish that we as a country would take those kinds of civic actions. I'm not necessarily meaning like burning everything down, but certainly if it gets to a point, then maybe you might have to put the option on the table. Not that I'm saying that I want to, but the thing is like, we need to be, as a people, willing to cause disobedience, civil disobedience, in order to get the things that we want, in order to put pressure on our government. And I don't see us doing that as a culture right now anymore. And so it is a frustrating thing for me to see this happen, because we have a pandemic and we don't have health care. We're the only country in the modern world that doesn't have universal health care at all. The only help that we got and after 9 months, after almost a year, is a measly $600 check and some unemployment benefits that is barely worth anything comparative to the problems that we have. We have $70 billion worth of back rent. The last bill had $25 billion in rent assistance, and that's it. Most of the aid went to the corporations. Most of the aid went to the Paycheck Protection Program, which allowed people like Joel Osteen to get $4.4 million. That is a prosperity gospel preacher who has a gigantic church and doesn't pay any taxes. This is a corrupt country, deeply corrupt, and we all know this, and yet we are not able to stand up against that. And that is my frustration. And I think it's all of our frustration. And I just wanted to share that. Olstein's grift over the collar. True. Very true. Very true. Honestly, things have to get worse before it's worth treating it out with cops. I hate all the corruption at the end of the day. Comfortable watching YouTube. And that's I mean, I've heard similar arguments, accelerationist arguments as well. And you know, I'd hate to see it get worse. You know, I really hate it because you look at what's going around and you think, how much more debt will there be? How much more death and destruction and poverty will there be until, you know, how much do we have to go through till we do something? It's again, scary thought. Scary thought. Accelerate into fascism. I hope not. I don't want that to happen. I just hope we can fix things before we get to that point. All right. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for going around the nation with me today. Please like and subscribe. Like and share the stream as well. Thanks to you for sticking around. The 255 people over at our Twitch channel. Please follow us there. Support the channel. You know, helps us out. We do shows every day. Some better than this one. This was a little bit frustrating, but sometimes we like to have a little bit more fun. So, a little bit more. And again, thanks to all of you on YouTube as well. Oh, by the way, a couple of donos here. Adrian Benefield says MI6 is real and it's a good show. Also, thank you very much. Recordings are probably video game footage. Maybe. Coro, happy New Year to you as well. And Scotty Johnson, thank you. Kind of $2. Yes, we do need to strike. We need unions. We need union power. We need labor. We really do need a lot of labor. Who should we raid, by the way? It would be a shame to not do a raid with so many people here on Twitch, 255 of you. So I'm looking at raiding the serfs, actually. It's the serfs. So let's do that. Let's go here. Figure out how to do this. Remember to like. Absolutely. Thank you to all those. Wow, that's a lot of followers in one day. So we are raiding. We are raiding the Serbs. Picture of a globe behind, but talking points USA only. There's a reason I don't talk about a lot of foreign policies because I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. So I'd rather wait until I know more about foreign policy stuff and foreign affairs stuff, read into it, study into it a little bit more before, you know, I get into that, because I want to make sure everybody gets accurate information. All right. We are raiding the serfs. So to everyone else, we will see you all tomorrow, right here, 4 p.m. Eastern, around the nation.
I have not loved this conversation.
Amazing.
It's like Sharknado, except for food.
Tolerate.
Wait. You're getting nervous, man.
Oh, wow, I'm sorry.